Visit CCGCastle.com and get 5% discount on your purchase with TCG Center 5 code. Check video description or visit CCG Castle for more. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Pokemon TCG Center. In today's video, we'll be looking at pretty much Vespiquen box deck. So I call it the Vespiquen box because they have a lot of different Pokemons, a lot of different attackers actually inside. So basically the Vespiquen should be the main attacker. So he's the one who can actually output with Zoroark in combination the most damage counters on your opponent active Pokemon. So with the Peer Revenge in theory, since running 26 Pokemons, we can hit for like 260 damage, which is pretty ridiculous. On the other side, with the Zoroark, we can hit with the Mind Jack for 8 times 3, which is 240 actually for 8 of your opponent Pokemons on the bench with the Skyfield, and with the Mind Jack we can add 10 more damage, so that's like a 250. And basically those two can actually hit pretty hard. And also, for examples of Striker, with that Crushing Ball can hit for like a 110, and it can easily counter those, I should say, Mega Rayquazas, because actually they have resistance basically on fighting Pokemons, and with the Crushing Ball you can just hit for the one-hit knockout with just a single double core synergy. On the other side, I'm also running like 4 copies of Klefki with Wonderlock, so that means only one tick. If I play against any Mega Evolution deck, I can have pretty easily game win against it, because with the Wonderlock I can basically prevent my opponent Mega Evolution Pokemon basically from attacking my Pokemon with Klefki attached to it for one turn. And with 4 Klefkis I can do that for like 4 times, which is just totally ridiculous. And of course, the deck wouldn't be deck if I don't have 2 copies of Wobbuffet with the Bite Barricade. Sometimes you might not be able to draw, or sometimes you just want to start with the Bite Barricade Wobbuffet if you go second, and basically prevent your opponent from being able to set up. And the good thing also about this deck is that I'm also running 4 copies of Anoms. So Farewell Leather will be a pretty good card in this deck, because once during my turn, if this Pokemon is on my bench, I can knock it out and draw 1 card for it. So it's pretty damn good. And of course, the deck wouldn't be deck if there are not at least 2 copies of Shaymin-EX. So basically 2 copies of Shaymin-EX will give me the access to some additional draw support with that setup. I can even Sky Return if I really want, but pretty much it's here just for the purpose of the setup. And that's pretty much it. So 26 Pokemon, as you can see, in total. 30 different trainer cards and only 4 energies, of course. All 4 of them are going to be double core energies. So let's move to the item cards and the trainer cards, of course. So the first card you should notice on the deck list is 1 Captivating Pokepuff. It's a pretty good card because I can rip my opponent hand and put any basic Pokemon I find here. So basically, if with the Captivating Pokepuff, I'm going to be able to start like a turn 1, it's definitely going to be very devastating for my opponent. But even in the late game or mid game, if your opponent actually have some Pokemons in basic EX Pokemons in his hand, you can easily Captivating Pokepuff him and basically put him on the bench, so you can Lysander them for easy to prize knockouts. In my opinion, it's a pretty good card. 2 level balls, of course, since we're running a lot 90 HP or less Pokemon, but also level ball can be just for like Animal in some cases, so for 1 extra card, and of course to increase the damage with the Vespiquen. Special Charge, I mean, maybe even running 2 copies of Special Charge wouldn't be that bad, because sometimes in the 90X war we can have some problems by losing the Pokemons with the double core energies. And let's say the Special Charge is prized, basically we're not be able to win the matchup. So that's very scary in my opinion. 1 copy of Super Rod, of course, you never know when you can use it. The good thing is, for example, if you can somehow discard your Shaymin, you can basically pretty much play it again, reshuffle it back with the Super Road. So let's say if your opponent just used Pearl City or something like that. 3 copies of Trainer's Mail just for the better consistency, I guess. 4 Ultra Balls and 4 VE Seekers. You really want to have 4 VE Seekers. So it's pretty much the best card, I guess, from the item cards you can get, in my opinion. So from supporter cards, I have 6 different supporter cards. In total, I have, as you can see, 9 of them. So The first one is, of course, Giovanni Scheme. Giovanni Scheme can actually allow you to draw cards until they have 5, or basically increase the damage that you can do for 20. So that's very important in some cases, because let's say our opponent have 4 Pokemons on his bench, we can hit for like a Mind Check 120, and plus 10, that's like 130. So with the Giovanni Scheme, we can increase the damage to 150. But the most important thing is, if our opponent actually have like 5 Pokemons in play, that's 150, and with the Mind Check it's a 160, and with basically Giovanni Scheme we can go for 180, which is enough to knock out those 180 HP EXs. In my opinion, pretty good card, especially for the late game, where you can actually add those 20 damage counters and maybe even hit your opponent Mega Evolutions for 1 hit with your Vespiquen or with your Zoroark. So that's very important. Of course, 1 copy of Hex Maniac, so you can actually shut down those Greninja's abilities. And any other basically Pokemon with ability cards. A copy of Lysander, so we can Lysander some from our opponent bench. Of course, some Ents, always good to have, so I'm running 2 copies of Ent, 1 Ranger in case of the Glaceon, and of course Giratina. 3 copies of Professor Sycamore, didn't find space for more of them, and of course 3 copies of Forest of the Giant Plant. So with the 3 copies of Forest of the Giant Plant, each player can evolve his or her grass Pokemon to the 3rd one, 2 copies of Flowstone, and 4 double Course Energies, so we can actually attack with them. As usual, if you're looking for any of these cards on CCGCastle, you can find them. With the TCG Center 5 code, you can also get 5% discount you purchase, so definitely keep that in mind. So let's do some game tests so you can actually see how this deck can work in the action. So see you in the game. Okay, so would you like to go first? I don't see a reason why I wouldn't go first. So, oh my gosh, my opening hand, 2 copies of Shaymin-EX, 2 Forest of the Giant Plants, 2 Ultra Balls, and a Vespiquen. Don't know what to say about that, but it's okay. Let's see, on the top 7 for my opponent, Jolteon, Oddish, and Zorua. Oh, this is definitely going to be an interesting matchup. I'm going to Ultra Ball my Sycamore and my Forest of the Giant Plant in order basically to grab something like Combi, or maybe something like... I don't need Blitzy, I don't need some Striker right here, so I will Ultra Ball one more time my Vespiquen right here, and basically I will grab just a Zorua. So I really want to input and output as many damage as I can to my opponent, Jolteon, next turn. And of course, Shaymin-EX for 6. So far I have only 2 Pokemon in my discount pile. It's not going to be easy to one-hit knock out his Jolteon without Bell Compressors, but I'm going to do my best. So I will use my Trainer's Mill right here. It's just another Forest of the Giant Plant. I think I will not need that, for sure. So where should I put my double Course Energy? I guess on my Zorua. We'll take the risk. And we'll go with the Sycamore 4-7, which means that I will even discard my Hex Maniac. So there is a Vespiquen, and there is another Zorua to put in play. There is 1 Klefki, so I'm really looking forward to play that Klefki right now and put it onto my Shaymin. More than that, I can put 1 more Combi in play, and that's pretty much it. So I can pass my turn and I can sit and wait to see what my opponent will be capable to do. So for the next turn, if he's not going to be able, but probably he's not going to be able to one-hit knock on my Shaymin right here, I guess I can just pretty much put my Zoroark in play and end for 6 new cards, and I'm going to be able to hit for like 70. So I'm really looking forward for more Pokemon on my opponent's bench. So there's one, oh, so there's a Wild Blue already in play, and Professor Sycamore for 7. So that means no more item cards, guys. Nope, no more item cards. It's definitely going to be interesting. So Ninja Boy, Oddish, Ultra Ball, and Professor Sycamore in my opponent discard pile. And he just decided to pass his turn, which is pretty good for me. And also I managed to get Professor Sycamore. So I'm going to Sycamore for 7, and basically I will hit for like a stand-in, of course, but for how many damage? Of course, 1 double Course Energy on the Vespiquen in case of the M. Mind Jack only for the 70, and that means that I cannot one-hit knock out his Jolteon for like 2 more turns. But luckily there is a Giovanni scheme sitting in my hand, which means that I can add 20 damage more, which is going to be a 90. So 70 plus 90 is going to be 160. It's going to be enough for the one-hit knockout, and that's very, very, very good. Just in case he managed to get that Zoroark and basically stand in, he's going to be able to knock out my Zoroark, but luckily I'm going to be able to respond with my Vespiquen. Oh, there's a Stardust Jirachi. I'm pretty scared about that, but actually he didn't use it, so he didn't find a way to use it, so this is going to be Giovanni's scheme. And basically I'm going to mind jack him right now for the knockout, so 120. And basically, oh, I totally forget that he used that Jirachi on the bench, so never mind. I even didn't need to use my Giovanni scheme, but pretty much I didn't have another option. I'm also looking forward. Oh, there's Rainbow Energy, so that means that he can easily right now scrap the double course energy from my Zoroark, and I'm not going to be able to attack with my Zoroark for the next turn. And that means that I'm going to use my Vespiquen on the bench, of course, and Professor Sycamore for 7. More than that, I'm pretty much looking forward to get that very needed Lysander to Lysander his Vileplume in the active position. Still don't see it. So we'll just pass my turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Pokemons in my discard pile. That's barely 80 damage with my Beer Revenge. So basically, it's not going to be enough to knock out his Vileplume on the bench, but still I'm looking forward basically to mind jack him next turn and basically knock out his Jirachi, because Jirachi right now is the biggest threat. And that's very important. So if I can knock out his Jirachi, I'm definitely going to be good. Okay, so just another Stardust, but unfortunately without energy. And I'm going to use my Mind Jack for another 70 damage. So it's going to be enough for the knockout. Pretty much Stardust will only apply the effect of the attack in case you have special energy attached on your Pokemon. If you don't have it, will just count as 10 damage counters, like nothing else happened. So there is a Zoro for my opponent, and basically let's see what he can do. I guess that actually basically that item lock turn 1 it was more in my favor than my opponent, because as you can see he does not have that energy acceleration. Currently this deck is not that good in my opinion, because it's much better in the expanded format, because in the expanded format you can actually use AZ and pretty much remove your Vileplume from play and set up pretty much anything else what you really want to use and play. So let's go with another Mind Jack for like a 40. It will take like ages to knock out his Vileplume, but luckily I can retreat next turn and basically knock him out maybe. So I have 20, 40, 50, 60, 80. Nope, I'm still going to be short, so basically I need to hit for like one more turn before I actually decide to retreat maybe. But luckily right now he managed to get the Jolteon in play. Basically with the Jolteon he's going to be taking 70 damage right now. So 70 and 40 is like 110, and next turn he's knocked it out. And the good thing is that even if he can knock out my Zoroark next turn, I can easily use my special charge, recycle 2 of my double cores energies, and of course get that V-Seeker for the very needed Hex Maniac. But also I can always get more damage to one-hit knockout with my Vespiquen, his Jolteon EX on the bench. So I can hit for 80. If he knock out my Zoroark, it's going to be like 100, 110, 120, 130, 140. Still I have Ultra Ball, I have Level Ball, I'm times 2. And there is another Oddish instantly for my opponent, so might he be even able right here to get that Vileplume and Zoroark in play in just a one turn? Probably he might be able to get that. I wouldn't be surprised actually to lose this game. Even I'm down to 2 prize cards. It's still not over. It's far from over actually. And there are 2 copies of N, 1 Lysander in his discard pile. Very good thing is that he actually discarded one Glaceon, and he doesn't have another Glaceon on his bench. That's very, very, very important, because Glaceon can be definitely deadly for me without Pokemon Ranger. And I think I discarded my Ranger, actually. Yes, I did that. And there's another Wild and he managed to set that Wild in just a single turn. And Sycamore for 7. It's going to be very interesting to see if he's going to be able to get that attacker, which is going to be basically a Zoroark in play. Even with the Zoroark in play, he can knock out my Zoroark, but basically I can respond with my Vespiquen for the knockout, and then he will probably promote just the Jolteon. But he just passes his turn. This is just totally ridiculous right here. I'm going to put basically another Mind Jack in play, just in case I need it for the retreat later. And I'm going to knock out his Zorua right there. So I'm down to 1 prize card. Pretty much all I really need is basically discard all of my hand, all of my Pokemons from my hand, lose my Zoroark so I can one-hit knock out his Jolteon. 80, 100, 10, 120, 30, 40, 50, well, still short for like a 10. And there is a double Course Energy and oh my goodness, I'm going down to like 1 card, he's going down to like a 6. Jolteon can hit only for like a 70. And basically, that's not going to be good, because I will still have my Zoroark in play. But the thing that actually concerned me is, what if he actually just decide to Lysander my Shaymin and pass. The good thing is that he's down to 14, I'm down to 19, so I will deck out. I don't need to worry too much about it. So there's a Flash Ray for 70. My top deck card is going to be... Striker. Okay, so let's go with the Mind Jack. It's gonna be like for the 40, but for the next turn, he right now have 50. I can hit for like a 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and I'm gonna be short for like a 10 damage. So any kind of Professor Sycamore top deck, it's gonna be over for my opponent, because I'm gonna be... Oh, right now he put that another Jolteon in play, and there's even Olympia, so that means that he can retreat and heal 30 damage. I really like that play, and right now he can actually retreat back and hit for like a 70. That was definitely very, very nice play. I really like that. I really like the Olympia. It's pretty good card. Pretty good card. So Vespiquen going to be promoted in the anchor position. That means that he actually buy a turn right here. Just to be secret as a top deck, so I guess I don't have another option. Go with my Beer Revenge. It's 100 damage. Let's see what he can do right here. Definitely with that free retreat, he can buy multiple turns right there, like 1 more turn. Oh, there's a Glaceon, so that can be very painful if he retreats right now and he's Jolteon on the bench. I can definitely smell something like that. Yes, he actually did that. He did that, so I might just lose the game right here. There's a Firewall Ladder, so I guess I'm going to add 10 more damage in my discard pile, but more than that, I need like a miracle right here, and that miracle actually is going to be the only one thing. Let's go with the Beer Revenge, pretty much, if he's not going to be able to retreat and attack with his Glaceon. The one thing I'm looking for is that Lysander card. So I really need to find a way to get my Lysander. And of course, prevent my opponent somehow from not being able to get the energy right here. So he managed to Lysander my Shaymin actually. And this is probably going to be a Crystal Ray. And basically he will try to... Oh, he just decided to pass his turn. Which means that I will also... Oh, I wish I had double Course Energy, but I don't have Bite Barricade. Nope. I'm going to put my Bite Barricade in play. I'm going to pass my turn. Basically, with a Wobbuffet right here, if he somehow managed to knock out my Shaymin, I'm going to basically smile to my opponent's face. I have pretty much a plan right here. So he's down to 10, I'm down to 13. I don't need to worry too much about decking out. So I'm going to win anyway right here by just decking out my opponent. So pretty much don't need to worry too much about it. Let's see what he can do right here. Even if he decides to end, I'm going to pull just like 1 card and he will draw like a 6 card. So it's just going to be a circle. So I guess it's definitely not worth. In my opinion, I know how to win this game. Wobbuffet is going to help me. Basically, if he knock out one of my Pokemons from play, I'm going to be able to promote my Wobbuffet in the active position. He's going down to 1 card, which means that this is pretty much GG. He's not going to be able to draw like so many prizes in just a single turn. I mean, he can probably try to attack my Shaymin, but that's pretty much it. So that Sycamore was just too much. and it's pretty much GG. Even if he was able to knock out my Shaman, as I mentioned, I would just put my Wobbuffet in play, get a turn of the item cards, and basically grab VA Seeker for the Ranger, so I can just pretty much put as many damage counters as I need, and basically knock out his Glaceon for the last prize. But the best thing is right here, even if he knock out my Shaman, I have Lysander for the last prize. Basically, I can Lysander his Jolteon on the bench and pretty much finish the game. So it was definitely a very interesting match right here. I can definitely tell you that. So another 70 damage. And yeah, pretty much I'm going to promote my Vespiquen, and with my Vespiquen, I will basically knock out his Jolteon on the bench. There we go. It's gonna be enough. I mean, I can even put more damage counters right here because I have Klefki and Unknown, but really doesn't matter. I can hit for 120 and knock out his Jolteon EX for the victory. Alright guys, let's do this. So, basically today I'm playing with that Vespiquen box deck that I actually call it. And as you can see, I have opportunity to open with my Wobbuffet. But since I'm playing against Water deck, I don't know how good actually that is, to be honest. I mean, probably it's Greninja on the other side, but really I don't want to bench down my Wobbuffet. I really want to have that Zoroark in play. For the Mind Jack, of course, and that Vespiquen, but actually it's a Clamper on the other side. That's interesting. Let's go with a Captivating Pokepuff, just to see what our opponent have. Oh my gosh, his hand looks just totally bad. I mean, he don't have anything. So I will go with my Sycamore for 7, discarding 3 of my Pokemons in my first hand. There's also Unknown, and I guess I can just Ultra Ball for that Klefki. And basically I can grab one of my Shamans, or I can go just pretty much for any of my Pokemons. I guess I can discard something like Zebstrika right here. I can put my Force of the Giant Plant in play, and I can Ultra Ball. Oh, before I Ultra Ball, I can actually Unknown for Farewell Leather. And there's a Vespiquen as a top deck, which means that I can even evolve, and I can Ultra Ball for one of my Shamans right here. So I can grab even 6 new cards. Basically, I think that's pretty decent because I also discarded like a few more Pokemons, and right now I have 6 of them in my discard pile, which means that I can go with the Beer Revenge for 80. Since he also is weak, this is going to be pretty much turn 1 knockout. Let's just hit Level Ball for 1 Zorua, so I can actually have that Mind Jack and actually stand in for the next turn. And I'm going to pass my turn right here. That's pretty much it. So will he be able to top deck supporter card, or this is pretty much over, which we'll see. I mean, he can always try to decrease the damage for 50, but basically that's not going to help him. Oh, there's an Enhanced Hammer, so he actually managed to top deck Enhanced Hammer, and he can go with the Dive Ball and basically grab that Ramride, which is pretty decent play still. And I'm looking forward to play Ultra Ball as a top deck card, with a top deck card of course, and have my Zoroark for the stand-in. And there's even Palkia. Okay, so that's pretty good. So he managed to actually set up right here, and basically it's gonna be my turn. So I will just evolve, and I will Ultra Ball. Unfortunately, Ultra Ball for Ultra Ball, and Ranger just to see what else I can pick. Probably another Combi, and basically I'm hunting for those double Course Energies. The good thing is that I have 3 more double Course Energy left in my deck. This is definitely going to be good. Let's just go with the Shaman for 6. I really want to get supporter card at least. So there is a Level Ball, which means that I can grab one more. Oh, that's not Unknown. Yeah, pretty much one more Unknown for that Farewell Leather, and basically I will evolve my Combi on the bench. I also have a double Course Energy, which is very important, but more important is that Farewell Leather. I'm also looking for maybe for that Lysander, so I can actually even knock out his Palkia on the bench. So let's go with another Combi on the bench and a Trainer's Mail. A Trainer's Mail just for another V-Seeker, so I guess I don't want to do that. I will just a V-Seeker for my Professor Sycamore, so I can actually go for 7 new cards, maybe even find another Vespiquen, and also try to get that pretty much very needed a Lysander. So let's just go with a Beer Revenge. So Beer Revenge is gonna be for 180 damage. And basically I will draw the first prize right here, which is actually a Klefki. So one more Klefki. Unfortunately, I discarded all 4 Ultra Balls, which means that I'm not going to be able to discard them. But it's not pretty much a big deal because his Palkia is actually weak. And since he actually has weakness, he's not going to be able to one-hit knock on my Vespiquen. Or on the other side, I can just easily go for like 200 plus damage. And there's a Deliquent, which is going to be a big deal. I'm going to discard 3 more Pokemons from my hand, which means that I can grab 30 more damage for them from my discard pile. And there's Artillery, which means that he can Abyssal Hand for like 4 extra cards. It's definitely going to be a good thing. So, yeah, pretty much Aqua Turbo can hit for like a 40 and attach 2 energies to your unbenched Pokemon in play. So there is also a Trainer's Mail for that Birch Observation. Alright, not bad. Pretty much, you can see that I'm down to 12 cards, so it was definitely very fast discarding. And there's a Max Elixir, so he might be even able to use it per Hurricane. Who knows if he can maybe find another Max Elixir and maybe switch. Probably that's not gonna happen, but we never know. Still, I will be looking forward for that Lysander, so I can Lysander his Palkia on the bench. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's my turn, which means only one thing, that I will use, again, my Force of the Jump Lane, or maybe even not. I'm just doubting about what should I do next. I should just go with my Beer Revenge, take the Knockout, basically for 240. Grab that extra prize for the EX rule, of course. And I really want to keep my Special Charge and V-Seeker for this turn, basically because if he knock out my Vespiquen, I can use my Special Charge basically and reshuffle back from my discard pile 2 of Double Course Energies instead of the 1. On the other side, of course, if he tries to end me down to like 3 cards, I might not be able to draw V-Seeker support a card or Double Course Energy, and that might be a problem. But unfortunately, he just used the Birch Observation, which means that we are going to see just the 4 cards from my opponent, but still, I'm going to be able to use that Professor Sycamore for 7, but even Anon for that extra Farewell Leather, which is extra energy maybe in my hand with that ability. So there's another Palkia, and more than that, I guess, he will find a Double Course Energy, but actually that Double Course Energy will not be enough to use the Pearl Hurricane, so I guess this game is pretty much over. So he decided to retreat down to his Artillery. Alright, so I guess that was not the good thing. So all I really need right here is that Special Charge, and I'm looking forward to attach my Floatstone just because I can. I'm not looking forward to play that basically Stadium in play because of the Deliquent, and of course I want to get that Lysander for the next turn. And of course, 1 extra energy right here for my Vespiquen, so I can just go for the one-hit knockout. Let's go with the Beer Revenge. This is going to be a Beer Revenge for 300 damage, which means that I can knock out 3 Octilleries and 1 more Remrite. Almost 1 more Remrite, because 30 damage will stay pretty much from 270 to 300. So there's a Palkia, so it's pretty much the last stand warrior for my opponent in front of my mighty Vespiquen. And even if he can knock him out this turn, I'm gonna be able to respond back with my Vespiquen. I use my Beer Range for like 400 damage because I even have that Sycamore sitting in my hand. And there's a V-Seeker, 400 Birch Observation. It's gonna be another round of the Birch, and unfortunately only for the 4 cards again, but that's pretty much it, guys. So, in my opinion, I think that's pretty much it. So, well played, he said. And, yep, it's pretty much 120 and 32 my Vespiquen on the bench. Which means that I'm going to promote my Vespiquen in the active position. And, of course, I'm looking for that Sycamore. And it's gonna be like 50 more damage times 2, which is actually 100. So 2 more Double Course Energies, but it's not important. I can just use my Beer Revenge and hit for 400 damage and pretty much end this game in a big fashion, I guess. So let's move to another game. Alright guys, so let's do this one more time. So waiting for my opponent basically to decide who is going to go first. Oh, looks like I'm going to decide who is going first, so I will definitely kick off first. So there are 2 combis in my hand. Oh my gosh, this hand actually does not look good to me. So I'm going to put both combis in play. There is no Ultra Ball, no sign of the End, no sign of the Sycamore, not even Giovanni Scheme, which would be pretty nice, but I hope for something good as a top deck. Just a double Chorus Energy, which means that I will put another Combi and the Klefki in play, and more than that, I will just pass my turn. Really can't do nothing better with this hand. So hopefully with next or after the next turn, top deck is going to be much better, because this game can pretty much end pretty quickly right here. So, a trainer's mail for my opponent. Very interesting. And he managed to get Professor Sycamore. So that means only one thing, that he's going to be able to grab 7 cards. And I'm still down to like pretty much nothing. 2 Floatstones, a Forest of the Giant Plant, Zoroark, and double Chorus Energy. If there was actually a something like Zorua in my hand, then in that case it might not be that bad. But since it's not, I don't know. Even if I can top deck Vespiquen, I guess I can use my not the Beer Revenge, but Intelligence Gathering and draw the cards till I have 6. Even that wouldn't be that bad. Oh, so it's my turn. He didn't use that Professor Sycamore. Okay. Still, I will just pass my turn. Since I'm playing against maybe in theory Mega God of War, I really need to keep my Klefkis, because a turn of the Klefki can definitely be a good thing. And there is a Mega God of War, yes, definitely. And he's going to top deck. Like Mega God of War, of course, because of the Puzzle of Time, and play Sycamore for 7. And there's also Giratina sitting on his bench, which means that even if he can find more Max Elixirs, he might be even able to power up the Giratina right here. And oh, there's another trainer's mail. Okay. Oh, Fairy Garden, pretty nice. And Arrow Ball is going to be for like a 40, which is going to be enough for the knockout. So I'm thinking about what to promote next in the extra position. So I guess I will put one of my Klefkis. Still looking for that top deck. And there's an Anon. So Anon is a top deck, I guess. Pretty decent. It can give me 1 more card, so it's a trainer's mail. Okay, so let's go right now with the Sycamore for 7. Oh, Ultra Ball. Okay, even Ultra Ball is good. I guess I can leave it to Ultra Ball. It's going to be Ultra Ball for a Zoroark and one of my Floatstones. So I can basically grab that Shaming X, and I only have 1 Shaming X. How many double Chorus Energies I have? 3 of them. Okay, so pretty much it's going to be a double Chorus Energy, and it's going to be Forest of the Giant Plant. Do I looking forward to attach the Flowstone? Really don't know is it worth to attach the Flowstone or not on my Klefki, because I really want to get that Zorua so I can put that Flowstone into it, because I only have 1 more Flowstone, and that's pretty much in my hand. So there is another Farewell Leather, which is good. Let's see what we can find with the Farewell Leather. Another Klefki. So let's go with the Ultra Ball for Giovanni Scheme and the Combi. Of course, for that Zorua. So I only have 1 Combi left. Don't need to worry too much about them. Also Floatstone, and I guess I can put another Klefki down to my bench and basically end. So there is going to be a trainer's mail. So I'm thinking about Ultra Balling my trainer's mail and Blitzy for that Vespiquen, so I can have that 1 attacker for the next turn. Alright, there we go. And basically Klefki is actually 70 HP, so it's not that easy target for my opponent to one-hit knockout, basically because of the arrow ball. I can hit only for like a 40 at this moment. If he can find energy in Lysander, he's going to be able to knock out one of my Vespiquen, but I guess he really wants to power up the Giratina as fast as he can, because with Giratina in play and Chaos Wheel, I'm not going to be able to play my double core synergies without Pokemon Ranger. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him actually charging his Giratina and trying to find those max elixirs so he can actually attack with it. So there's another Gardevoir Spirit Link. And all I really need is a Zoroark. So right now I'm searching for that Zoroark so I can basically stand in and retreat. So there's one Mega Turbo. So one Fairy Energy is going to be attached. And there's a one Max Elixir. So can he find very, very important energy to attach it on his Giratina EX? Yes, he can. And there's a Puzzle of Time. So if I can see 2 copies of Puzzle of Time right now, he can use pretty much another Max Elixir in Fairy Garden and basically get, in theory, Chaos Wheel running here. Luckily, that's not going to happen, and luckily, I have that V-Seeker sitting in my hand for N. I mean, I can even use my Giovanni scheme at 20 damage on my Vespiquen, but really I don't want to do that. So I really want to get that Zoroark in play as fast as I can. So let's go with a V-Seeker for N. There we go. So we are both going to benefit from that end. There is no doubt about that. Unfortunately for me, I didn't find a Zoroark, so he will be able to knock out my Klefki right there. I'm looking actually forward how to knock out his Giratina. And there is only one way, actually. If I want to knock out his Giratina with a single shot, I will need to have 15 Pokemons in my discard pile, or basically Zoroark in play with that Mind Jack and basically Giovanni scheme for extra 20 damage. It's not going to be easy, but it's pretty much possible. So, definitely looking forward to play one Sky Return with my Shaymin X on his Giratina before I actually manage to knock him out, because right now I don't have the Giovanni scheme and there is actually another M. I think that he's looking for that energy and Fairy Garden so he can have it for a treat, but this is just going to be another Arrow Ball and 80 damage, so I'm going to promote my Zoroark in the active. Right now I have 2, 4, 5, 6, 8 Pokemons in my discard pile. With Anum it's going to be 9. There we go. And the top deck card is going to be a Super Road. Okay, so a Level Ball can give me access to another combi because I really need those combis. So I can basically power them up with those double force energy cards. And basically I'm going to retreat on my Vespiquen. And I'm going to hit for like a 90. Oh, actually 110. So at least next turn I can knock out his Lugia with my Vespiquen, but still I'm very concerned because I don't see still supporter card in my hand, not even Pokemon Ranger, and basically those 2 cards can really help me. Can he find another energy right here? We shall see, but basically even if he managed to find energy, he's gonna be able to knock me out, but basically next turn he will trade 3 energy cards for just a single price. On the other side, I have one ready attacker, which is a Vespiquen, and there's just the Arrow Bolt for like 80. Unfortunately for him, he was not able even to retreat right here, and there's just another Zoroark as a top deck. So I guess I can put a few more Pokemons back from my discard pile. So I will put back one more Zoroark one more Klefki, and one more combi back. And I can even play my Hex Maniac if I really want, but I really don't want. So let's go with the Beer Revenge this time for like a 80 damage. And I'm going to pull 2 prize cards right here. I hope one of them is going to be Shamey. Nope, Wildfet and Striker. So none of these cards are actually usable in this matchup. So at least I have a Zorua and the Vespiquen with each with the double course energy. So he promoted his Giratina in the active position. So let's see what Giratina is capable to do right here. If he can knock out my Vespiquen, I'm going to add 20 more damage in my discard pile. And then I'm going to be able to hit for like 100 with my Vespiquen. That means only one thing, that I will need that Zoroark, so I can basically go for that very needed Mind Jack. And in that case, I think it's going to be pretty much like a game. And he actually decided to do a Lysander on my Shamini X, which is actually not bad at all. So probably he does not have energy in his hand. And if I can top deck right now Zoroark or Ultra Ball, it's definitely going to be very, very good play for me. I mean, he don't even have Stadium in play, so there's no chance that he can even retreat and use that Desperate Ray for like 110. And he actually did that by discarding all energy cards from his Giratina. So very, very good play, but also very, very risky play. He can grab 2 prize cards right now, but I can actually easily hit him for like a heavy damage right here. And also pretty much put my Klefki on my active Pokemon, so his Gardevoir is not going to be able to attack. So let's just go with a Wanderlock. Of course, there is a tons of cards in my opponent's hand, so he might be able basically to put that Lysander in play. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 Pokemons in play. 8, 9. So that means I really need to put them as fast as I can in play. So let's go with the Beer Revenge. So Beer Revenge for 90. Next turn is going to be for like 110. But still I'm going to be short for like a 10 damage. If you have Lysander, a Vespiquen for Lysander, he can easily knock out one of my... Oh, there's a Centaur Lady. It's not going to be a Lysander, but there's a Centaur Lady, and he's not going to be able to knock out my Vespiquen right here, which is a good thing. So I will have one more turn to buy, and it's going to be enough actually to knock out his Gardevoir. That's the most important thing, so I don't need to worry about anything else. There are no more energies in play for my opponent. There's a Pearl City, which means that he will probably cut one of his Gardevoirs, maybe even Giratina from play. I wouldn't be surprised even to see Giratina discard from play. But he decided to remove that Xerneas. And unfortunately, Desperate Ray is not going to be enough to knock out my Vespiquen because of the Klefki. And top deck is just a special charge. So I guess this is going to be a Beer Revenge. And a Beer Revenge for 90. So he is down to like a 120, which means that the next turn I'm going to be able to knock him out because he have right now... Oh, there's a Double Dragon Energy. He have right now 120. So Vespiquen for Centaur Lady will do the job. Okay. Pretty nice. So I need 150 damage. And the only thing that can help me to do 150 damage is top deck Professor Sycamore. Without top deck Professor Sycamore, I'm not going to be capable to basically knock out his... No, just the Zoroark is a top deck. At least I have resistance minus 20, so I can survive maybe. But he can actually discard all of his Pokemon from the bench. And he can hit me for like 110, 20, 30, 40. Too much. I mean, I can go with my Mind Jack. That's pretty much all that I can do. Mind Jack for like an 80. But unfortunately, I lost the game at the end. It was close, but not enough.
wasn't able to get supporter card, and basically another Shaman was prized. And right now, he can just discard all of his Pokemon from the bench to knock me out. But also that Center Lady was just a big deal. Center Lady helped him a lot right here because he played Center Lady 2 times, and basically he was able to hit like a 120 damage from his Mega Gardevoir, which means that if there was no Center Lady, the game would be pretty much over. And he hit for like a 120. Just decided to discard all of his Pokemon from the bench, of course, to one-hit knock on my Zoroark, and that's pretty much a game for him. So guys, once again, there's the full deck list that I used to play today, and basically I played 3 games. Unfortunately, won 2 games, lost 1 game, so it was pretty much good to play with the deck. I didn't have more time actually to show you more better games with it. I will definitely do the live stream. I hope tomorrow. I'm pretty busy at this moment, so I do my best just to publish at least the deck list so you can see it and test it by your own. But yeah, stay tuned definitely for upcoming video and possible live stream with a few days. I have something for the Friday to do, so I'm very busy. But after the Friday, I'm gonna be free, so I will have more time to build and play games again. But yeah, pretty much if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you didn't like this, just this dislike video. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave comments below. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So stay tuned. Have a nice day, whatever you are. Till the next time. See you again, and goodbye.